All right, we're going to take it away, me and my boys. So, hi, I'm Maggie. I just was on stage. One of the things that I had the opportunity to do earlier in my career is I worked at the Houston Dynamo in its first 2 years. And what was really special about that experience is I got to take brands and players out into the community and really see like what it means to people when they can see and touch the sport. So as you guys, introduce yourself, tell me a little bit about what does democratizing the game mean to you? We'll start on this end.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay.
And then
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
I mean, look, I think first off, for Gatorade, they've been democratizing the sport for 50, 60 years. And if you think about how sport becomes part of lives, it's about giving access. And we've, internationally especially, what we've been doing is creating 5v5 tournaments, 5-a-side tournaments for kids all around the world. We've had over 150,000 kids already engage in this tournament, which literally started just as a brand activation, but it's turned into something much more. Now we taught it to Champions League. These kids get experiences they never had, and we bring players like Robert and others to really help teach and actually create opportunities. And we've also tied it into a lot of it. So to me, democratizing a sport it's just fundamentally, I think we owe it. It's a responsibility we have to giving kids a chance. I mean, these guys had a chance when they were younger, and look what they've done over. And my 2 young daughters have had a chance because of sport. So I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm agree with Mark. I think the most important now it's to give back because I retired since 10 years ago. So now I have a very good opportunity to play with the men, with the women, especially with the Gatorade 5-a-side. 3 weeks ago, we played together in Istanbul just before the final of Champions League. So I think even for all the players, is a good opportunity. All of them after the game, they ask some advice. So it's very important because we have, I repeat, the same passion. Is the football. So one of them, they want to be a football professional, but if they want to reach the football professional, I said, you need to put the rules on your life, to work. You need to be humble, respect all of them, the players, the manager, the ref, and of course the school. It's very important.
I think it's important to start with why. The power of sport, you can't understate its importance. It for me, and I would imagine the people on the stage that have enjoyed its benefit, and Patrice and I have had these conversations, it's one of the greatest self-improvement, social justice, health and wellness instruments on the planet. And at a time where people are stuck in echo chambers, and at a time where friction's getting between us and people that don't look like us, sound like us, think like us, sport is this incredible conduit to and has a network effect of making your life better by being around others. And so I think for us, we found sport in a way that kids are struggling to find sport today. We found it in a free, spontaneous, local way. And we got to determine what our relationship with sport would be. And I think that's the thing I think about the issue of consequence that I spend all day long trying to figure out and design as an entrepreneur products and solutions for, which is how do we remove the friction between kids, most importantly, and this great gift. And especially in the States, I think the privatization, the professionalization and the specialization of sport at young ages is a crisis that Gatorade and PepsiCo have showed up for, and many brands here have shown up for, and Stagwell has shown up for, evident by their support of a court that my nonprofit did in Harlem. And I think that's the cool part about introducing sport into this conference is technology. If it was going to unlock anything, it's got to unlock the gift of sport at an inflection point where so many kids are not feeling its love, and it's becoming a privilege rather than the right of all. So, to me, democratization means, sport is there for absolutely everyone.
Like you say, some people, they ask me, oh, why are you Patrice? And I say, I'm still alive. And they laugh every time I say that. But sport really saved me, and football in particular. I think, playing football, you're going to build your confidence, you're going to build your leadership. And what I want more about sport is the equality gender, is no matter also where you come from, your color, your culture, your religion, to all have to feel safe and respect. And like I say, without football, I could have gone the other way. And football regenerates so much. I played the Soccer AIDS game with UNICEF a week ago. One game, we regenerate 15 million pounds. And in total, since Soccer AIDS start, they regenerate 90 million pounds. So it's such a powerful platform. But of course, you have its positive things and also negative. I was in the UK Parliament 3 weeks ago and talking with the FIFA and what we can do to improve where those children have to feel safe. Because, you know, when we talk about violence in football, everyone suddenly just think about the hooligan, the fan. But no, I'm talking about the child being abused by their coach or whatever. So that's my fight. People know I'm a massive activist of ending the violence against children, but it happened in sport. And this, we need to stop that. So we need many brands, we need the support to change all of that. And, you know, the rules, for example, in the FIFA we have for the doping, I want the same rules, you know, for child abuse. That's my fight right now.
Patrice, I'm going to keep it with you just for a second, because I think what you said is important, and you talked about how football saved you, and I think that has resonated with a lot of people on stage. So the story you just shared, I mean, we all know how important it is as leaders to give back to the communities, but how does that fuel your overall performance as a human, as an athlete, to make sure that you have the ability to do that?
You need to find the right balance. Is a massive responsibility. And to be honest, now athletes, they are not just athletes. They represent a brand. They are politicians. So they do more than just like kicking the ball around. You know, like I say, it's such a powerful platform. And myself, I've been lucky, and I play for the biggest club in the world. And now I'm using all my social media to spread that message where, like I say, I repeat myself, to feel safe. But we have a massive responsibility. I think it will be selfish for myself if I don't use that. And my mom always told me, you know, more you give, more you receive. But some players, I don't blame them if they don't do that, because you also have to have a good staff around yourself. And also your main focus is to perform on the pitch. So it's not easy for them. Like I remember some fan, and I give the example of Marcus Rashford, the player from Manchester United. And he did a lot of things, giving like free food to children. But the fan, when you don't perform well, they're like, we don't care about that. We don't want you to be the Obama of England. We want you to score a goal. So, you know, you need to find the right balance, like perform on the pitch. But of course, as a human being now, I feel I understand why I'm on earth. Like, I had a pleasure to play football, but now helping people, this is more important than any trophy I won.
I love that. Well, so Mark, how does that show up for you in the world of brand? I mean, Pepsi and Gatorade have like taken such a strong stance on showing up for women. How does that fuel you, what Patrice has just said?
I think it just resonates with what's happening you see in the women's game, particularly in this part of the world. I was lucky to grow up in the U.S. Where the women's game has obviously been the gold standard. And actually for Gatorade, you know, we had Mia Hamm in an ad 26 years ago, right? So 26 years ago, we were elevating the female game to the highest level with Michael Jordan. What we now have a responsibility to do is create more opportunities for girls around the world. We've taken our 5v5, our relationship with UEFA Champions League, and brought an entire women's league, tying it to originally in Turin, and then we have boys and girls playing in Istanbul the next week. And then we've actually turned it into a lot of inspirational. Rachel Yankee, who is a pioneer in the sport, she played for Arsenal, she played for England, and she literally had to cut her hair and actually pretend she was a boy. This wasn't that long ago, to play the game. You know, and so we've got to help tell their story. We've got to amplify, and we've got to create opportunities. And we've got to leverage our marketing dollars and our partnerships to elevate that story.
Awesome. Thank you. I mean, you know, we are burning through these questions because y'all's answers are so good. So I'm going to surprise y'all and, like, move around a little bit. So y'all have talked a lot, and even in prep, hearing about the higher causes that y'all are all close to. And it's something that, like, super inspired me. You know, Kyle, when we think about that and how you are a fierce competitor to your core, how do you bring that forward in your life when you're like focused on cause-oriented things as well?
I mean, that's the easy part. We're hardwired to be disciplined, to be ambitious, to train, all the gifts that sport gave us. It's easy to try to apply that to what we're doing. And so specifically, just to stay with me for a second, and I see the clock. The band's going to play in a second to get me to stop. But this is a real crazy moment I'm going through with the people on the stage that have impacted my life in such a big way that help fuel my drive for social enterprise and as a designer and as an entrepreneur to give the gift to as many as I can. 5 years ago, I ran for U.S. Soccer President. I didn't win, but that changed my life forever, and that it showed me a problem, but showed me that there is a path to a solution that's not expensive, that's not difficult. It's just about shifting a paradigm towards a more equitable world that we can help fuel. And so me as an individual, Arsenal Football Club at a moment in time when Super Rob over here was playing for them, it changed the way I look at football. It changed the way England looked at football. It changed the way the world looked at football and moved it in a more positive direction, a more balletic, a more beautiful, a more healthy direction that so much has come off of that. And as a fan, it changed my life forever. In high school, I was a Gatorade High School Player of the Year, and that moment changed my life, and it opened up all sorts of doors and opportunities for me. And a documentary about an area north of Paris where disproportionately the greatest athletes on the planet have come from these blacktops was a documentary that inspired me, and it's called Concrete Football. It inspired me to try to build access solutions at the ground level. Forget elite athletes, forget the pyramid. All of it's irrelevant if you can't inspire and intrigue and invite kids without access into the sport. And Patrice told me a story when we finally met, which is wild, that documentary inspired me so much that he didn't start playing organized soccer until he was 14 years old. Yep. And so all of this led to, and this stage is the network effect of one court can change the lives for millions. Forget the thousands that it changes locally. Serena and Venus come from one court, and it shouldn't be about building elite athletes. It's about 99% of people won't end up where we are, but they're going to end up out of sport, and they're going to end up out of this gift. And so I started a nonprofit where I noticed we have an access problem because we have an inventory problem that's manufactured. It's false. Everywhere in the world, every basketball court has a soccer goal under the hoop. We have 2,000 basketball courts in New York City, and almost none of them are used for their primary purpose. Don't turn them into something else. I decided I'm going to start a nonprofit, and I'm going to make all of these multi-sport spaces because proximity to facility is highest percentage chance a kid's going to start and continue to play sport. And Patrice has changed his life and many lives on this principle. It didn't work out when I went to Parks and Rec and said put a goal under the hoop. So I spent 3 years designing, patenting, and inventing a goal system that recesses into the ground under basketball hoops. It is now in 15 countries. I said, or 15 cities. I just said, Sagwell just helped support the first one in New York City in Harlem for Jackie Robinson Court. These are immigrants and refugees in these areas that come from countries where soccer is the number one sport and haven't kicked a ball since they made this scary journey to try to find a better life. And so this is the power of the game, and it's these connections. It's not a difficult thing to solve. And a really exciting thing is Patrice was a hero of mine on the field, and now even more of a hero of mine off the field, and what you've done.
Thank you. I'm
and
going to pay you later for that.
The lives you changed. And Patrice has come on and sort of breaking this news as a co-founder to help us take this access solution of every blacktop should be multiple things.
That's amazing.
So we're excited to partner
go
on
what Carl is doing? And when he told me about this project, I jump on it because this is my life. I never been in any academy football club. It's like from the street to the star. And I didn't have the opportunity to play on the pitch. We were playing in a car park. Sometimes
we start in the street. All of them. We start on the street.
No, but that's what I mean.
Me,
And people like, no, Robert, have you done Clairefontaine?
No. Me?
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure?
I start with you on the street.
Okay.
So that's why we have a good football on the
but
on
exactly.
the pitch.
And that's when you
No, I agree with you. Yeah,
that's
of
why
course.
you and now, and I'm not against any academy football club, but like Robert say, we're losing this creativity.
Yes,
now
exactly.
I feel like the player, they're playing more as a robot. We tell them 1, 2 touch, doing that, doing this. And before you were more like inventing, playing with your instinct. That's what also is missing in the sport. That's why I want more kids playing outside because that's where we build our football, our personality, our character, because it's also tough playing in the
Or
street.
responsibility on the field.
Responsibility and, all
I
of
agree
that.
with you, yeah, of course.
Johan Cruyff has the most amazing quote. He said, "This is one of the greatest footballers
We're
of all
not
time."
letting
All right,
her
I'm going to
speak,
take
so
control
anyway.
of the panel, guys, because we have 5 minutes
Oh,
left.
sorry.
No, it's totally okay. Remember, I'm in charge. Just kidding. All right, so we have 5 minutes left. Robert, I want to ask you a question. So it's wonderful that we've talked about all of this, right? Like we talk about all these feel-good things. How do we make sure that we sustain that progress when we all go home?
Well, I think the most important for the kids, it's they have a dream on their head. I think Patrice and me now we are, or we try to be a good example for the new generation. So that's why when with Gatorade, when we have a tournament with the kids, I want to play. I want to participate. I want to share the same passion, the football. I want to give a good advice for the men, for the women, because this is the football, and all of them. We can play football on the pitch, on the street. We can find very easy to the ball. We can find a lot of people because a lot of people they want to play football. So that's why now for me the most important is to help or to try to help the young players.
That's amazing. All right, so in our final few minutes, I'm going to start with Mark, but then I'd love to hear from each of you. Share with everyone what is like one personal thing in your life that has really inspired you to keep doing the work that you do. So Mark, why don't you start and talk about it from a brand perspective?
All right, so mine is a very personal story, but I'll keep it quick. When I moved to England in 2016, my daughter came out of the AYSO system in the US, which is massive. 1,200 girls playing every morning on a Saturday. We go to England, it's 2016. My friend who's now running the FA, it's like, oh, go to this club, she could play there. And he's like, but it's a mixed club. And she showed up, and mixed meant 11 boys and her. Went out, played, and walked off with tears and said, Daddy, I don't want to play. And she took a year off. Next year, she was playing with her school team. They went to Dubai, and they took home gold in a World Games Championship. It just shows, and that was 2016. What's happened to football in the UK in the last 6-7 years is unbelievable. And it took people like Mark, and it took people and brands like ours and others, and guys like this who have inspired both men and women and little girls and boys around the world. And me personally, I just took that to heart. And I think everyone probably has a story that kind of gets them, but it just made me passionate in what I do professionally, but also what I want to give back.
As a female who is in the military, that like super resonates with me. So Kyle, why don't you talk a little bit about you?
Let me just be prescriptive to the crowd we have about your last question, not to skirt this one. There's $1 billion of brand money on this beach, right? And the cool part about this moment is what we're talking about, self-improvement, social justice, that in yield in terms of what brands are looking for their marketing dollars to do for their product are the same thing. They finally intersect where be like Mike is not the good use of money. You're not going to be like Mike. No one's going to be like Mike. He's Mike. It's like, inspiration is no longer the best use of dollars. Like activation. Like how are brands giving people the instruments to live the life they want to live and be the person they want to be and can be? And so for me, I think it's super cool that all the conversations I've heard with everything going on with the game I love, football in our country, there are moments where brands can achieve their goals in terms of how they deploy their marketing budgets and substantively and systemically change the lives of these young kids forever. And that's the beauty of the problem is we can solve it with the goals that the people in this room already have.
So I will answer your questions was who inspire you?
The question was something from your personal career that has inspired you to continue to do the work you do.
The person inspire me the most and my heroes is my mother. I think when people ask me who is your idol or whatever, it's my mom. I don't know if people know, I've got like 24 brothers and sisters. And my dad never watched TV or he lost the remote. He was a busy man.
Big family.
But just my mom, to put food on the plate and, working so hard. And she never give up. And people ask me, Patrice, where that resilience come from? and it's from my mom. And I know men won't agree with me, but women are stronger than men, and they're even 10 years in advance than us.
Amen.
And that's why this is really important. My mom teach me all the value in life, to don't judge people, to respect people, and if I am here, is thanks to her.
I love that. So look, guys, why bought us 2 more minutes? So Robert, let's go. What is one thing in your personal career that inspires you to continue the work you do?
I think I'm like Patrice. I think my hero was my dad, because he gave me the passion. He was like a big inspiration. Of course, he gave me the good rules. Education for me was the best, and the most important is the respect, all of them. My mom, it was very important during my career, because I think they build me the good character, because on the field you need to be strong, and to find the good balance between yourself, between your partners, between the manager, because to be football professional, I think is a very good job. But it's not easy. It's not easy because we have a lot of responsibility, even for your partners, and especially with the fans. Sometimes for the brand. So that's why I reach the top level. It's because of my parents, because I find a good stability between the private life and the professional life.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I want to close it out with just one final question. As you think about the future and the work that all of you are doing and the work that these people are trying to do as well to democratize the game, what is one word that sums up your hope for the future? I'll start with Kyle.
Optimistic.
Patrice?
Positive, like usual. Positive.
Mark?
Passion.
Robert?
Passion and positive always. For me,
Robert, one word.
That's one word.
Look, none of
positive.
y'all are following the
French word.
directions on the
Positive.
questions or doing one word, so it's
Positive
not
and
surprising.
passion, I think is a good mix. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you so much. This has been an honor to do.
Thank you very
Thank
much. Thank you.